All right. All right. Hello, hello. How are you doing tonight, Thelma?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Miss Leslie. How are you?
I am good. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'm
Thank
so
you for
happy to have
inviting
you
me.
here.
Very, very happy to be here. Thank you.
So I'm sorry that last week kind of was a washout. We had a little bit, well, I had a little bit of internet issues, and that kind of goes to show that sometimes we can't always control our environment. We can't always control our the way things happen, the way things we can't always be in control of our life, right?
There's
Um,
very little that we can control.
yes, exactly,
Very little.
and it kind of leads to overwhelm. It kind of leads to how we handle our our lives and
Mhm.
everything, and you know. I know that I struggle with that sometimes, and I've had a lot of issues, and I'm sure you've probably had lots of struggles in your business, in your career with, kind of having a lot of things rolling all at once and kind of coming to a head and how, so tell me a little bit about, as you've built up your business. I mean, you've got a big business, Thelma. I mean, tell me a little bit about like kind of how have you built up your business and how have you dealt with some of the, I guess, the pitfalls.
Well, there's always going to be pitfalls in every business, right? There's always, no matter what you do. I mean, I know people that own restaurants and own small businesses,
Mhm.
and just maybe you don't even own anything. Maybe you're not an entrepreneur. Maybe you work for someone. I work as a teacher as well. I'm a certified Texas teacher, so that's
Mhm.
got its own headache. But you asked about how I built the business. Well, I have always been a thrifter. I've always liked to thrift. Not always, but when I moved to Houston, I met a friend who loved to thrift, and I always used to buy at garage sales or antique stores. And when I'd get overwhelmed with too many things, I'd go to a flea market and sell it. I'd made jewelry and I sold that. And I just always like kind of turning things over, like just to control the hoard, so to speak. But
Mhm.
then YouTube happened very serendipitously. I was not looking to be a creator. Basically, I was just trying to share my love for thrifting. And one day I was looking at a YouTube video, actually trying to help my youngest daughter uh, get some skills, interview skills, because she was looking for her first high school, job or whatever. And we just Googled something and it came up, and it was a girl that lives here in Houston. I think she's up to about 5 million subscribers right now.
Oh,
That's
wow.
great. That's Graveyard Girl. And she did a little interview about Forever 21. But then I checked her channel out, as we tend to do, and she was a thrifter. So then I thought, I'm going to start thrifting. I mean, sharing my thrift hauls, and people liked it. People responded. So I liked it. And it was a creative outlet for me. It was a fun outlet because no one who does what we do understands. No one other than the people who do what we do understands the thrill of finding the fantastic finds,
Mhm.
flipping it for a fantastic price. No one wants
Mhm.
to hear shop talk unless, you know what I'm saying, unless it's
Exactly.
you can share that way. So I
Mhm.
found that in this community. It just
Yes.
became a virtuous cycle because people said, I love when you do jewelry. I like the way you show it, explain it, so forth. So I kind of concentrated on the jewelry part of it. And then people wanted to buy the jewelry. So I never really sat down to sell on YouTube, and I still don't in my channel. But they were always calling me, texting me, emailing me about buying things. And then one day I decided to do an auction on Facebook. And from there, it's been 4 years. And again, a virtuous cycle of I do the content, I earn money on YouTube, I earn money from what I'm showing, I earn money from showing it. And
Mhm.
then I have a following that, you know, went with me to Facebook and now whatnot.
Mhm.
When I guest, sometimes I do guest appearances for auctions, but I
Mhm.
still just enjoy it, just
Yeah.
enjoy doing that. But there's always something you can't control. I have to make a refund for something that was the wrong type or whatever. But you just move on. What can you do? Like you said, you couldn't control the weather. You couldn't control the internet last week. I can't control if I didn't notice something was made out of cotton and not linen or, whatever.
Right.
Things are going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Things are
Exactly.
going to happen.
Yeah. So how long have you been working your business? Like the thrifting part, the jewelry and all of that.
Well, I've been on YouTube 10 years.
Okay.
And I was selling on, like I said, people would just see something. Hey, can I buy that mug? Whatever. They'd email me, and that happened. And that happened, like I said, only up until 4 years ago did I decide to do an auction. And the auctions were very well received. So I kept doing them. And that's what I'm doing. So it's been, I guess you could say, roughly 10 years where it's turned into a jewelry business where I actually, and it's interesting because I am not in the same kind of, I did a video about it the other day. I'm not in the same kind of job objective that other people are. Some people consign. Some people search the internet all night for those wonderful bargains. And I do a little bit of that too, but mostly for me. But I got into the jewelry jar. So most of that's coming from the jewelry jars.
Yeah.
Most of my resources are from the Goodwill. I'm not actively seeking, wholesale from India or looking on, other sites. What are those new sites? Wish or anything like that to bring to market. I don't do that. It's just kind of, like I said, that's why I'm calling it a virtuous cycle, is that from my content came the sales, and it just kind of looped over. It just kept looping positively for me. Again, there's always negatives though. We get haters. I get haters on here.
Oh yeah.
I get people that start rumors and so forth, and clicks, and everybody's in competition with whatever. Everybody wants to be the expert and the smartest person in the room.
Okay. Yes.
And everybody wants to be the smartest person in the room. Everybody believes everything they see in a chat. And so but you have to stave that off. You have to concentrate on the people that do like your channel, that do leave you feeling, I was just cleaning out some furniture today because I'm giving away furniture to make room for a treadmill, which I'm hoping to use to stave off the stress. If there's nothing like exercise, even if it's 30 minutes, I remember when my kids were teenagers, and I went through some rough times with my girls when they were teenagers. And the only thing that was a respite for me was hitting that gym, even for 45 minutes. So I decided, since my local gym closed down, I'm going to invest in myself and ordered a treadmill. And I was looking through the drawers, taking out all these pictures and letters all the way back to high school. And basically, I was in tears. And I told my daughter, I'm never doing this again. It's a little stressful for me to go down memory lane sometimes.
Yeah.
I lost a niece at 19 to meningitis. My beloved niece was like a daughter to me. And so I saw, of course, pictures of her, but then I saw cards and letters from my neighbors who reached out to me, from people on YouTube that reached out to me when I lost an aunt. And those kinds of things just, that's what you have to keep close. That's what you have to keep in your forefront. There are people who really care about you, and they show it when you need it.
Yeah.
So when I do get that negative comment or someone calling me selfish or whatever, or I've even had people tell me, why do you do those hauls? It's such a vulgar thing to do, to show the jewelry that you find. So I'm like, that's my content.
Yeah.
I'm talking too much, Leslie. You go ahead.
No. I mean, but I think we all need to hear everybody's experiences to know that we're not alone.
Yeah.
I
we're
think,
not.
I mean, it's important, at least I need to know at least that I'm not alone sometimes. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, I know that, I've recently had like some really negative comments on some of my videos, and I've had to delete them.
And that's the best thing to do. And sometimes I don't take my own advice. And I'll answer, and then I'll just wait to see if she answers, and then I'll delete it. And I shouldn't do that because
I
I'm
know.
going there. I'm going there, and it's causing me stress.
Yes.
And I shouldn't do that. But I just, sometimes I don't know what it is.
Mhm. I
I don't know what
know.
it is, but I'm just like, how could
I
you say
know.
something so dumb? Or they'll come and say something dumb about another YouTuber. Again, jealousy and envy. And
Mhm.
they will come and say, well, I don't watch her anymore because she didn't do this, or I don't like the way she didn't see I mean, literally, somebody will say, she didn't say hello to me. She always says, so they'll come say it on mine. And I have to think to myself, there's all kinds of people out there in this internet world,
Mhm.
all kinds of lonely people
Mhm.
that use this forum for company, because they have no one else to talk to.
I
And you'll see
Yeah.
some of that. So then they take things really personally.
Yes.
And you have to remember that, and
Yeah.
then just realize, hey, you're out of my life. When
Yeah.
I shut this channel down, I don't know you. You don't know me.
Yeah.
I don't know you. And
Yeah.
that's where we have to kind of,
Yes.
especially as you start growing, it seems like when you're like at 1,000 to 5,000, you'll get a lot of crazy people watching you. And then when you get past, 10 or so as well. And you get wonderful people too, wonderful people that just write you. That's what I ran into in that chest too. I've saved every letter and note I ever got from people here. I took it to my room. I was going to show you a picture that somebody sent me that they drew of me. And just, I love your videos. They helped me through the pandemic.
Mhm.
I like when you do this, or just your voice puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
And relaxes me or whatever.
Mhm.
And I love that. And I have saved those letters a lot. And that's what I should be saving and not engaging in a petty comment.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I actually, yeah, I've had a few really petty ones. Like I've had some where they're like, you really should know, I mean, I came from a bead background, and
Yeah.
then they'll basically say, you really need to learn your beads better.
Oh my God.
Don't you know your, I made a comment about, a bead being between 4 and 6 millimeters in a video. And
Right.
they're like, that's at least 12 to 16 millimeters. And I'm like, 12 to 16 millimeters is like a half an inch.
Yeah.
That's definitely not. And, but it's like, I in my immediately want to go to argue
Yeah.
because that's
Exactly.
my immediate, but I can't
And
because
that's
all it
good
does
that
is
you
just,
don't. It's good
yeah,
that you don't.
yeah,
Like I said, once in a while I succumb and just answer. Like, how can you say you don't know me? You don't know what I do. And then if they don't answer, if they keep wanting to, be derogatory, then I block them. But
yeah.
sometimes I just want to vent, I suppose. And I shouldn't, because it's not worth the effort
Mm-hmm.
at all. It's not worth the effort or the energy to engage with that
Right.
kind of thing. But also, like you were saying, to relax, exercise is so
Mm-hmm.
good for me, because I'm not thinking about anything but trying to stay on that treadmill and not fall off, and then that sweat and breathing, you have to regulate your breathing and drinking your water and all of that. And that just clears everything around me. But prayer works for me too. And
Mm-hmm.
I've come to the realization that people are afraid to say the word prayer. They're afraid to speak about things like that. They will say meditate. They will say pick up a stone. They
Mm-hmm.
will say walk on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
They will say, but they will not say prayer. I even heard a podcast not too long ago where he said, what brain health the best, he said, was eating, of course, certain foods, vitamins, and exercise, a little bit of exercise, he said, not too much. But he said, and meditate or prayer if that's what you do. So why did he have to qualify prayer? He didn't qualify meditate, which in the end, it's basically the same
It's the
thing.
same
It's
thing.
basically the same thing. You're just surrendering yourself to something bigger, whether it's, a walk on the beach, looking at the beautiful sunset, or feeling the sand in your feet if you can, or even, I mean, I remember the first time I saw snow, which was just 8 years ago in Chicago. I had never walked on snow. And when I heard the crunch of the snow, and this is a city of Chicago, but it
Mhm.
was quiet. It like covers the entire area, and it quiets the noise. My son lives in the city.
Oh yeah.
It quieted the noise, and I walked alone, and I was bundled up in the prettiest coat you've ever seen and a fur hat, and I felt fabulous, and I was crunching in the snow, and I felt otherworldly about it. And it's
Yeah.
something simple like nature,
Yeah.
but I think we need to surrender ourselves to moments like that.
Mhm.
Something as simple as what you've never seen, like snow, or if you've never been to the beach and go experience that, or
Mhm.
sitting in your yard when the first roses come out or something.
Mhm.
That all helps, because the
Oh
negative
yeah.
is always going to be there.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I love snow. I love snow. And I love water. I love nature, but
Yeah.
I'm a nature kind of girl. So, but I live in Michigan. So, and I used
Yeah.
to live in the northern part of Michigan. So, where it's all nature.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like I said, I don't know if I would live there, but experiencing it for the first time when you're a mature woman and you've never done it,
Mhm.
it's mind-boggling, and
Mhm.
I can only look to God and say, thank you for this wonderful world,
Yeah.
even though it's full of other things, but there's lots of good things. There's
Mhm.
lot, and that's another thing I try to practice is gratitude.
Yes.
Whether, I may not have a steak dinner, but I have something to eat tonight.
Mhm.
I have a warm home, and there's a lot to be grateful for.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think things like that help me to put the
Mhm.
stress where it should be. Because in the
Exactly.
end, I'm going to have the stress. The new person's going to have the stress. Whoever comes and takes our places, whether it's me in a classroom, if I retire in 10 years or less, I don't
Mhm.
know. I'm probably never going to retire because I have to earn a living. But I enjoy my job, and I try not to let it stress me either. That
Mhm.
job is very stressful. Teaching is very stressful.
Very. Mhm.
Special education is doubly stressful. I think the teachers are leaving in droves in regular education, and I think special education teachers leave after about 5 years, or they start moving through the echelons of the system into admin and things.
Mhm.
But it's very stressful, and you just have to keep your goals in
Mhm.
front of you. What is it that as I say, what is your why? What do you want to do? And realize you can't do it all. You can't
Mhm.
help everybody. You're not going to get the parent to like you if they don't like anybody.
Well, you're not gonna get anybody
Yeah.
to like you if you're not gonna like
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah. If they don't like anybody, they don't like anybody. If they think
Mhm.
their child can be helped where they can't be helped, then that's just what you're going to deal with. But if you can help one person, you can make a difference in at least one person's life, you've done your job, in
Mhm.
my opinion.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
my opinion, you've done your job because you do your best. I know if you're sitting around there painting your nails all day, of course you're not doing your best.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Exactly. Let's see. Penny says, love watching you all. It helps me learn. And more importantly, right now, watching you all helps me get through a tough time. Aw, we love you too, Penny. And
Yeah, there's so many, I was listening to an old song this morning, probably from the 60s or something, but it said, so it was kind of a very timely song because it said something about going back to the rules, like after a vacation, like I have a little lull during the summer, but
right.
then it's back to the rules and the times and the schedules, and it's just what we do. And you've got that dog, that wonderful dog. Animals are wonderful too, aren't they? Oh, did she freeze on me? Uh, maybe it's did y'all hear the little squeak? That's her pup playing with a new toy. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, she did. She froze. She froze. I was telling her, I thought it was a little parakeet earlier, but it was, she said he got a new toy. Oh, that's a shame. I don't know what's happening with Leslie's internet. I think she said it was storming and things. Well, it's my show now, y'all. Let's talk about joy. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Hi, Miss Emily. Lunch. I know that I've seen you on my channel as well. I'm glad that you're here. No, I appreciate that comment, Miss Penny. I'm going to read the comments here. I have it on my phone as well. I can see it better on my phone. So what do y'all think? Give me some feedback in the chat till Leslie comes back. Hi, Miss Kirsten. I hope she can come back. I hope she doesn't feel bad about these internet issues. Remember what, those of you who might be watching some of my videos, gosh, I had horrible internet service a couple of years ago. I must have gone through 2 or 3
Sorry, guys.
services. Oh, we were just talking about bad internet because I had the same issue.
I lost
forever.
Yeah, I lost it and it came back. I don't know what happened.
Good. Yeah, I must have had 3 or 4 internet people here every other day. And I had good internet. It was just, I'm surrounded by a lot of trees too. And I don't know. I think finally I got some of those, like those little, almost like, hey, the ones that you can say, hey, Google, play whatever, but it's like a series, but they also reroute your internet. Like move it around the house a little bit, because sometimes one room will be weaker than the other. So that helped me.
Yeah, hopefully I won't lose it. It just started to storm here, so hopefully I won't lose anything.
Yeah, you're getting the storms. Maybe we'll get. I'm glad we're dodging the hurricane. We're still in hurricane season here.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh yeah, because you're near Houston, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that was just a blip.
Yeah, but I think, what were we talking about? You were going to say something because I was hogging the show.
Well, I was just going to read some of the comments that we had gotten. So Emily was just saying that she was. Oh, where was I with the comments? Emily she's only experienced a snowy winter twice. I thought you were in Utah, Emily.
She's experienced what?
She only experienced a snowy winter twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, see, I have been to Chicago when it's been below 0, -10.
Cold. Yeah.
And that's hurtful. That really hurts.
It is hurtful.
That is painful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I can't see myself going through that. I like to go out too much. I like to be here and there and just on a whim go to the store, on a whim go to this thrift store, and I can't see myself like just preparing so much to travel. But I was just relaying that experience, that wonderful experience that I think we can all, if we just let ourselves feel it, can feel it.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes it comes just from sitting down with someone that you love, or someone you haven't seen in a while, and you're having a great conversation over coffee, and you're like, wow, how lucky am I to be able to talk to someone that cares about me. And like I said, I saved every card I've ever gotten from my subscribers. And for them to reach out to me and tell me, I'm sorry, I heard about your aunt passing, because I would share it in a heart-to-heart or something. Or my neighbors when my niece died, and neighbors that I haven't probably seen because my kids were in play groups and things. And my niece died 20 years ago. But, to see them all just reaching out. And I remember they brought me soup and things like that. And it's just so kind. When people are kind, it's nice to go back and think about that. And I've realized what I'm trying to do now is to be kinder as well. To be kinder to other people that don't know me, like a drive-through.
Mhm.
Why wait for them to say, how are you? Or thank you? You know, because we're getting a lot of that. I've experienced a lot of things like, I'll complain, wow, what happened to service? We don't get service. We don't
Right.
get customer service anymore. You have to triple check your bags at the drive-thru because they're always wrong.
I
And
know.
they're always wrong. And I think, well, these people, they're stressed too. They're stressed too. They've probably got kids at home, and maybe that's their third or second job, or maybe they just, miserable, or maybe they love it. I don't know. But why not ask them, how are you today, before they ask you? So
Mhm.
I'm practicing that because I do a lot of, I do a lot of eating out when I'm teaching. I don't really like to brown bag it that much. And I have so many restaurants around my school. So, if I can get something, but I really feel that if we treat people nice before we expect them to treat us nice, I
Mhm.
think things are going to get better for me. I think I'm going to feel better about doing that. That's,
Yeah.
I just tell myself different things like that.
Mhm.
I do, because I see other people do it, and I think it'll work for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it doesn't, like if you say hello 1,000 times to somebody, it's like the kids at school. We're supposed to be out in the doorway while they walk through to their classes, and they're middle schoolers. So they love to hug and joke and kill time. And every single one of them, I tell them good morning. Maybe two will tell me good morning back. But,
Yeah. That
it's
age.
you expressing it. Yeah. So taking the high road.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
So do you ever get to that point where you just feel like super overwhelmed with things, and if you do, what do you do to combat that?
I drink and I smoke.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I do not drink and smoke.
Well, I mean,
I don't.
sometimes
I wish I could. I wish my lungs would take a cigarette. I haven't smoked in probably 30 years, and I would definitely start coughing it up.
I'm telling you, I used to be a smoker.
Yeah, it's a stress reliever. That's why they say only pilots are allowed to smoke on an airline. Did you know that?
Really?
A pilot can smoke.
They can still smoke?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where I miss smoking.
Mm-hmm. And I think to myself, I don't think I could handle it, because it really nicotine is so strong. I think
Mhm.
I did try it, like after I had quit for like 10 or 15 years. I was with a cousin or something, and she's still a chain smoker. And I said, let me have a cigarette. And we smoked a cigarette, and you feel it in your head, like a
Yeah.
little dizziness. So I'm like, no, I couldn't do it. But I was just joking.
My
I
sister
don't
still
drink and
smokes,
smoke.
and we were
Yeah.
drinking one night. I was there, I don't know, a couple months ago. I was visiting her, and we were having a few drinks,
Mm-hmm.
and she lit up a cigarette. I'm like, let me have one.
Mm-hmm.
Let me have one. I have not had a cigarette in like a couple of years, and I'm like, let me have one. I probably had like 3 hits off that cigarette, and I was like, I
Yeah,
had
it's
rushed.
incredible.
Oh my God, I was like dizzy. I was like,
It's
but
incredible what it does to your
yeah,
bloodstream so quickly. And
yeah.
vaping is the same thing. I mean, I don't see why
I
people
could not vape.
can think there's a difference. There is really no difference.
Yeah.
You're still injecting things into your system. But yeah, I have an occasional glass of wine. I still have half a bottle I opened like 6 months ago, just because I like the taste of wine. They say red wine's good for your blood.
Oh, I love
And
wine.
my husband's not a
I love
drinker.
wine.
My husband hasn't drank in probably 20, 30 years, maybe
Mm,
more. So I drink alone with him. He'll open the bottle for me, and I'll have a glass, and he'll really fill it up. I'm like, that's not the way. You're supposed to go just a little bit so I can, swing it around. And he doesn't even know. But no, nothing wrong with that. Occasional drink is good. But no, I also like to nap. When I really feel
oh,
like I have
napping
just
is good
had so
too.
much and I just want to scream, I just like, you know what? I just need to get to my bed and lie down
Hmm.
and take a quick little nap. And usually that stress is building up so much. Maybe it was something really terrible that happened, a leak. I had a leak in the house last year. The entire kitchen, laundry room, this room flooded. And I had people blaming this person and the contractor blaming this one. And it was just awful. And nobody wanted to do anything anyway. I wound up paying the entire thing out of, insurance doesn't pay much anyway. But the people that were really at fault didn't want to comply. And I could have gone to small claims court. And my son's an attorney. He said, go to small claims court. But I just like, you know what? I'm just going to go cry about it for a minute and take a
Yeah.
nap, and then wake up and handle it
Right.
and make the phone calls again, and go there.
I struggle with napping. I think my head goes too fast. So I struggle
Yeah.
with napping. I struggle with nap. I can't really seem to nap very well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's funny, like, okay, Emily says, haven't smoked in 4 years, had gastric bypass, and haven't been able to smoke now, so it stops the cravings.
Mm.
So that's interesting. I didn't know that. So that's interesting. But I like that you can nap now, so that's pretty cool. But so Penny says, no difference in vaping and to smoking. I smoke, but I don't drink. Naps are the best. So the thing is, okay, so Penny, I feel that there's a huge difference to vaping and smoking. I can't. So back when I did still smoke and vaping was just coming on the surface,
Mm.
I could not do that. I couldn't do that switch. Like I couldn't switch over. I much preferred to smoke to vape, to smoke than vape, because to me it was like the whole lighting of the cigarette kind of thing.
Yes. And
It was like that whole
it just
ritual.
looks sexier too.
There's a big difference, but then like lighting or like a electronic thing.
Yeah.
I'm a whole old school person. But
exactly.
anyway,
You're right. And it was like they say, it's a trigger ritual.
Yes.
It's like I if I was having a drink at a restaurant or a bar somewhere, with some friends or something, and that was before they outlawed smoking in bars, which has been like 20 years or so. I just could not see myself having a drink without a cigarette, or right after a meal. I really wanted one right after a meal.
Oh yeah.
Those were so hard to, but
driving.
I don't know. But I still didn't smoke that much. It was so strange because I would still keep a pack of cigarettes for like 2-3 weeks. It was just like I said, when I had them and we were going to go do this or I was doing that, and then I'd smoke 1 or 2 cigarettes a day. But I've had friends who smoke 2 or 3 packs a day. So it's a very addictive habit. I know that. Not a good habit, but naps are healthier. And I do time my naps. I do a timer. I do power 22 minutes. For some reason, 22 is my magic number. Yeah. And sometimes even when I get home from work, I get home very exhausted. I still want to do my videos. I try to do a schedule for videos. So I'll do them in a little bank, 2 or 3. And that way I'll say, I'm going to take a 22-minute nap. Then I'm going to do 1 or 2 videos recorded. And then I feel like I've done something. And I don't get enough sleep, though. I really need to be more disciplined in my sleep patterns and go to bed early.
You and me both. I think, maybe that's part of the reason, like some of us are like me, maybe I get overwhelmed is because I just am not a good sleeper.
Yeah.
And maybe if I napped, but I still, I don't know. I struggle with naps. I don't know. I struggle with that whole mindset. Because when
you feel guilty about napping, don't feel guilty. I try not to, because and that's where the timer comes in, because your body, and I know I'm older than you, so my body really needs it. I feel myself just yawning and dragging on, but I feel like if I take that 22-minute nap, I'm better, and then I can go for another 4 hours or so, and then but I'm trying to get the 8 hours sleep. That's where I have trouble with the 8-hour stretch. I
can't do 8 hours.
I do 6. I do 6, and then I get up too early, and then by the right after lunch, I'm like, And I've gotten things at work that help me, like I have a stand-up desk, so I'm not sitting there, and of course I'm a very active classroom with special needs children. So that helps too. I can't imagine just being at the desk.
Yes.
Because everything's on computer these days. So all these children that are in schools, they're still, the pandemic kind of did wonderful things for technology. Zoom meetings are now a part of our lives.
Yes.
And online learning that's what it is. You get like a lecture, especially in middle school. You'll get and I'm talking general ed as well. You'll get the lecture, the introductions, and then you're on your own. So you could easily sit at your desk all day. Not for me so much, because I have kids that behavior issues and things like that.
Right.
But I can still have some quiet times, and I could lull myself to sleep. I like to put some ambient music on for the children, so for the hyperactive ones and things. And I can feel myself lulling myself to sleep, but I get up and walk around. And I like having a stand-up desk because I feel like I'm getting a little more calories burned that way too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Let's see. Penny, best sleeps or naps. Don't feel guilty. Just nap and enjoy. That's true.
Don't feel guilty about anything. Don't feel guilty
Yeah.
about feeling, like you deserve a break.
Yeah.
You do. You do a
Yeah.
lot. And you've got a very busy schedule, Miss Leslie. I heard you saying you're doing like 3 shows here, 2 shows there. Well, you got to take care of yourself too. Take a
Yeah.
nap
I'm doing
between those shows.
6 lives a week. Yeah. Doing 6 lives a week.
Mm-hmm.
So, now
No,
that I'm doing this full time,
exactly. Yeah.
It's got to replace that office manager salary. So
Exactly. And you're married to it. It's like being owning a restaurant or your own business. You don't do anything but that.
yep.
But you have to do that too. And I know a lot of people that do full-time reselling,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't take any time. And I fall into that rut too. Like I had a summer vacation, 2.5 months, but I spent it online.
Mm-hmm.
I spent it at my auctions.
Mm-hmm.
And the week that my grandchildren were here visiting, I shut it down pretty much. I didn't do any videos because I wanted to enjoy every single second
Right.
that they were here. And I remind myself of that too when I have an auction on Saturdays over on Facebook. Some days I'm just like, no, I want to go see my grandson that lives here,
Mm-hmm.
spend the day with him. And if I don't make the extra for that week, then I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll just have to figure out something else for that, because in the end, life's too short to just wake up and work, wake up and work, wake up and work. You got to enjoy something.
But I do, I mean, like for me though, even though I get overwhelmed, which is kind of what like we're talking about, but I mean, I don't know if those of us who are all here that, I mean, a lot of us are probably full-time or close to full-time. I still love what I do.
Right.
I absolutely love what I do. And I would never trade going back to a full-time job where I punch a clock or I work a salary and have to answer to somebody else. I would never, ever, ever trade that life for what I do now. I even though I get overwhelmed sometimes, and I had this last week, where not only did this last week on last Monday, I lost our live here, the Monday Mindset live.
The stream, yes.
Yeah, my Thursday YouTube live, I couldn't even go live because my power was out, and I couldn't even go on my Thursday live on YouTube. And then also on Thursday, my car broke down like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was $1,000 worth of damage on my car that I had to come up with out of the blue, that it was unexpected.
Right.
And that was on top of coming off of 6 weeks of not having my car due to hitting a deer in June. And then I had my car for 24 hours, and then my car broke down with almost $1,000 worth of damage. So it was like, what else could go wrong? Like, really? Like, what happened this last week? Was this like a, some weird turn of events? But, I had to kind of learn to, it's okay. I can get through this. Yes. Like Emily just says, when it rains, it pours. Yes. When it rains, it pours. Like, but you know what? I got through it, and I took my time stuck at the house without being able to drive anywhere. And I just did a lot more lives. I just did a lot more. and ended up working a lot more, but
Right.
it was okay. I didn't mind. And I was able to pay for it and got it done. So
In the end, it works out.
in the end, it worked out, and I didn't lose my internet anymore. My power came back.
Exactly. It's
Everything
just that
came
we
back.
see it as such a catastrophe, like I did that,
Yeah.
like it literally rained in my house.
Yeah.
That it was a hot water leak, and I woke
Mhm.
up at 4 in the morning. Why did I wake up? I thought it was storming, and I felt like the rain was coming in, but it was actually my water pipes burst, and I was wading
Mm.
through my living room, and I was just so panicked. Didn't know the first thing to do except wake up my husband. We both just started scooping out the water,
Oh,
and then the insurance people come, and then it lasted for a whole year
oh,
before everything was finally pretty much back to normal. We didn't have a Christmas because everything was in the shambles getting reconstructed.
it's
But what
crazy.
can you do? You can't, you know, you just have to go through it, go through
Yeah.
that storm
Hmm.
to get to the other side, because that's what life is: ups and downs,
Yep.
good and bad.
I,
We've
I,
all had it.
yeah, I feel like it's almost like a lesson. Like Dawn, who normally is on with us, like I called her and I'm like, I feel like there's a lesson. Like there's a lesson, and she's like, you. She's like, Leslie. She goes, you always have to control everything. She goes, you got to give up control. Just
Hmm.
give up control. Like, just let this happen to you and get through it. She goes, this is your lesson that you need to stop controlling everything.
Now, I don't see you as a pessimist. You're
Mm-mm.
not a pessimist then. Well, that's good then, because a
No,
lot of people are, and they're like one little thing, and they're already seeing, oh my gosh, in 2 years I'm going to be homeless or something.
no,
That's good. That's
no. I'm
another
I'm
really
not a
terrible
I'm
trait
not a
people have.
pessimist, but I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
So it was my lesson to loosen the reins. And
Hmm.
so that was what I took away from it, is that I had to loosen the reins. And I did. I did. I definitely learned the lesson, and I learned how to I need to learn how to go with the flow. And
Yeah, we all do.
mhm.
We all do. And that's in any business. Like I said, everything from the classroom to what I do here, it's all got its pitfalls. There's always something. A package gets lost, $200 lost.
Mhm.
Someone stole it, someone didn't deliver it, or whatever
Yeah.
happened. And you just can't, all you can do is apologize, hopeful that
Yeah.
something will be done. Sometimes it's your fault, sometimes it's not. In
Mhm.
the end, you can't do anything about it. It's just a loss, and you just have to chalk it up as a loss,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there's going to be a gain around the corner.
Good point, or good segue. Um, have you had, or well, obviously you probably have. Um, I recently had like two situations where I've had like packages that have either arrived damaged or arrived, even though like you package things so well. And
Mhm.
how do you handle those?
Well,
And anybody in the chat, how do you guys handle those
well,
too?
it depends on who you're talking about. If you're talking about an eBay transaction from a stranger, and of course everyone's a stranger actually, but if you've had a long-standing relationship with someone and they've been buying from you for 3 years, and they tell you something was damaged, well, we figure out who's going to file the claim, because the post office tells you either one can file it, which is so annoying, because then they also tell you what the check will be written out to the person that files it. Uh, so you work it out that way if you can. With eBay, I'm always suspect, and I will always kind of question it, and I'm going to try to have my the monetary aspect intact as much as I can possibly do so. So I usually don't always, I mean, you can kind of get the gist of what someone does. eBay is known for having people that try to, maybe they have buyer's remorse, they break something just so they can get their money back. It's a lot easier now though on eBay. You don't even have to have a reason to return something. So that can happen, but I don't know. I just try not to take it personal unless it is personal, and then I usually try to remedy as much as I can to make that customer happy, because if that's a customer, a true customer, you want them happy.
Yeah.
And you want them to come back. You don't have to wait for them to put it back in your hands for you to give them. If you trust them enough, they've been paying you for 3 years religiously. Give them their money back right there and there. And then when they get a chance, they'll return it, whatever happened, or they took the picture if it was damaged. Sometimes you sent the wrong thing or whatever. That's the way I try to handle it. But I've always kind of separated the community part from the commercial part. That's why I think, I mean, it's still commercial in a way, but it's aside from, I don't know, it's very tricky because you do want to have a friendly relationship with them, but you also have to delineate that business. That business line has to be there as well. And there are different types of customers. There are customers that are remorseful. There are customers that maybe they just don't like it or whatever. In the end, I don't know. I think it's your business. One customer is not worth agitating to lose your cool about, and to lose your, your prospective customers in the future.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the way I see it.
Yeah. I know. I just feel so bad. Like, I swear they come in like clumps. Like those situations. I'll go for months without any issue. And then like, I'll have like 4 or 5 like bad packages in a row.
And it's interesting, but things happen like that to me too. And I, as a customer, feel bad returning them. This is where I say the friendship, the commercial, and the there has to be a delineation, because I've actually felt where like, oh, I'm going to feel so bad to tell her that it arrived damaged. She's probably going to think that I'm just returning it. So see yourself on both sides. And then I had this lady tell me on eBay, and I realized to myself, this is very common. She bought this beautiful necklace, and I think it's acrylic. And I actually have a picture on Instagram of it. It's such a beautiful necklace. And she wrote me and said, please package it very, very carefully. I have ordered this necklace 3 times and they have all arrived damaged. And I thought, okay, I will. And so I got each. It was like kind of like a statement necklace with kind of big pink things and pearls and all acrylic. But she insisted that that's what happened. So I took each individual one. I put cardboard on each individual one. She had left me feedback and said, thank you so much for packaging that. And I would have probably just put cotton on it and bubble, but because that stipulation was there, I not only did it for her and she was happy about it and that was great, but I thought to myself, you see how this can happen so easily with those statement necklaces that jiggle around? Because I'm telling you, those post office people play soccer with those packages. They really do. And the longer that thing is in the post office and going here and there, that can happen. That's why usually when somebody has a really special item, maybe that I'm a little concerned about the fragility of it, I put it priority. So it can go in 2 days. But again, it can just happen. Also note that customers feel bad returning them sometimes. I felt really bad that I've had to tell 2 or 3 people your item arrived damaged, and it was a YouTube auction. But I felt like, oh, and then sometimes I hesitate to go because I feel like, oh, she just returns it. I mean, maybe she just made it up, but no, it was damaged. I don't do that. That's not the kind of customer I am. But now I feel like give them the benefit of the doubt as well. I really do. Especially, like I said, if it's a frequent buyer, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let's see, Gemma. Let's see. Gemma says that
Notes are very nice to receive in packages. Yes.
yeah. Let's see. Gemma's got a lot of nice a lot of nice comments here. Thank you, Gemma. Yeah, it's it's a tough one, when you are trying to package. And I mean, I had a lot of sales from over the weekend, and I spent 6 hours shipping today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to try to get all of those out and all of them packaged nicely and everything. And and I'm always worried that something's going to arrive damaged. And then I had 2 people message me from last week's shipping, and they're like, oh yeah, it came in and this broke or whatever. I'm like, oh man,
and especially rhinestones and vintage things. Sometimes it's not even because somebody mishandled it. It's just because it's time for that thing to fall out. It's 40 years old, 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you can't say, to your customer that you appreciate and want to keep happy. You can't say, well, that's just not going to happen. You got to say, what can I do to make it better?
Yeah.
In the end, that's what you have to do. I had an inlay piece that arrived with one of the inlay pieces out right there in the box. It was still there.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I couldn't fix it. This was sterling and it was a native piece. And I contacted her and she said, I'm so sorry that happened. I'll refund it and send it back. No problem. And I know that she was sincere.
Yeah.
I know that she was sincere and that I can go back with confidence and I won't feel as if she thinks I'm going to just return something that is, that I'm nitpicky or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I am, but something like that I couldn't fix. Now, if it was a rhinestone and it was in the box, I would have popped it back in. I would not have contacted. That's just me. But
right.
Some people may not feel that way.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's exactly it. Yeah. I mean, I always, if it's easy to fix, I would never contact. But I mean, if it's a broken strand or something snapped off or whatever, then yeah. I've had people on Whatnot who have messaged me after they've gotten something. I had somebody that had a necklace, the rhinestone necklaces that have the hook closure. And she messaged me and said, this is broken. I'm like, how? How is it broken?
Right.
And she goes, well, it's missing the other end. I said, what other end is it missing? And she's like, what's missing the end that this hooks onto? I said, no, it's not.
It's under the chain, right? Or the bead.
It's not missing. I said, how was it? You won that for $2. It was a clearance piece. It was a clearance piece. You won it for $2. And I don't know what you want from, like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know what you want from me, but it's not missing anything. Like, what do you want from me?
And in the end, that's what you're going to get. I mean, it's like, but was it you that said someone complained about a giveaway too? Or was that someone else on Whatnot?
Oh, people complain about giveaways.
Yeah, a giveaway. And and I think Adrienne mentioned too that she accidentally sent she didn't realize something was an organic piece and someone was offended by it. And, I understand your sentiments about protected species and whatnot, but at the expense of, insulting others and degrading a human being over a piece that is a historic piece in the first place, and they were perfectly fine and legal at the time. It's just not worth it. Sometimes people really lose their common sense, and that is very stressful because you just want to scream. But you just, again, I go to prayer and just, give me strength and let's just take a deep breath and answer it the way you're supposed to. You know what they tell us at school? They always tell us before you hit submit to answer anybody's email, take a deep breath, go to lunch and come back, because those emails can get you in trouble. And you can say some things that you will later regret. I know I have.
Yeah.
And unprofessional insinuations are made or whatever may happen. So it's best to just take a deep breath, step away, and then come back and say, you know what? Is it worth the stress over a $5 item or a $2 item?
Yeah. I know. I went through I actually have a love-hate relationship right now with Whatnot. And
Yeah.
I'm taking a step back from it
Okay.
at the moment. I
Yeah.
got a rash of like 4 1-star reviews
Oh my gosh.
in a week.
Yeah. Have you tried getting them removed? They're
Oh,
very
I
good
got them all
about.
removed.
Oh, good.
I got
Yeah.
them all removed.
Yeah. Someone did that about something that they loved everything, which was like $2
Mhm.
each. And then one thing had verdigris that I didn't notice. And I said, first, I said, I'll replace it the next time you buy something, or I'll send you something now, but please remove it. And she didn't even answer me back. I don't think she had read it yet. But then I contacted Whatnot and they removed it immediately because everything else was
Mhm.
5-star.
Yeah.
And, if you can fix it, remedy the situation. But people, I don't know what they think about the feedback. They
So,
abuse it or they don't
yeah.
realize how important it is that someone look at something, and not that everybody's going to go read your 5-star reviews, but it looks best. So it's
It's
that's
yeah, so like Whatnot, there's so I have like this weird experience with I used to sell on a different platform prior to Whatnot.
Mhm.
That was a live. Well, I've no, I sold on Whatnot throughout this whole time, but I sold on another live platform called Shop Shops. So I don't know if anybody that's watching has ever heard of Shop Shops. Um,
No, I think you mentioned it when you came on my show.
yeah. So there was a seller on Shop Shops who was very prominent on Shop Shops. She was like an OG on Shop Shops.
Mm.
And I started selling, I was selling designer bags and vintage jewelry on Shop Shops. But she was a vintage jewelry seller on Shop Shops. And when I
Uh-huh.
started selling vintage jewelry, she didn't really like it. And so there was like I ruffled feathers because of it. And I only sold it like once a week or whatever. So it wasn't like it was that big of a deal, but um I don't know. She it was a very high school platform, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, like Depop or something.
no, I mean like clicky.
Oh, well,
um
that's here too. That's here on YouTube too.
yeah,
I-
well, yeah, but I mean
It's
like she would get people to go onto the into your live and create drama and that kind of stuff. And so eventually I stopped selling on Shop Shops because of it.
and this was a full-grown woman.
Oh yeah, older than me. I mean, I'm
Well, this is
50.
what I'm saying. There's full-grown
Yeah,
women on here who do the same
yeah,
thing and
yeah.
go
So
around
I'm 50.
blackballing people and starting
Yeah, I'm
rumors. And
50. I don't put up with this shit.
no,
So
they do it a lot here, and you'll see
yeah,
it. You don't
yeah.
have to look really hard to see who goes to whose auction and who goes to the auction. Is another reason why I don't do them here. And I have to tell you that I admire Kristen D very much
Hmm.
for the way she conducts herself
She's amazing.
she's amazing.
I don't know if you're
She's
still. I
amazing.
know. I thought I saw you pop in, Kristen. I don't know if you're still here, but you're
She
awesome.
she's very, very, I can't even think of the word for it, but I want to say neutral, but it's not even that. It's just beyond
Hmm.
that. And she, every time I've seen her conduct herself in situations where things have gotten a little strange in
Kristen's here.
chat, she is just all class.
Hmm.
She won't go left, she won't go right, she
Yep.
won't go up. She's about her business, and
Yep.
that is all.
Yep.
And she's friendly to everyone. She is diplomatic. That's the word I was
Yes.
searching
Very,
for.
very
She's
much
an
so.
absolute diplomat and never says anything petty,
Hmm.
even under her breath, or saying something like, oh, you shouldn't ask for a thumbs up when you just start your video like some people do, or we do it like this like some people don't do,
Hmm.
or we don't do this in this auction, we really do it like this. little
Yeah.
conversations, little nitpicks like that.
Yeah.
You'll see them all over YouTube, and you will never see Kristen D act
Mhm.
that way. And that's why she's grown
Mhm.
so exponentially, and she'll
Yep.
continue to do so
Yep.
because she's very professional. And
Yep.
it's all about that here.
Mhm.
It's all about your personality, even more than sometimes even more than your content. People are drawn to her. She's a
Yes.
magnet. She
Yep.
really is.
I
I
agree.
really admire her.
I agree. Yep.
So
It's
that was
about,
a shame that happened at shops, huh? I
oh
gotta
yeah.
look that
No,
up.
it's about class, and
Mhm.
so that's part of the reason why I'm starting to think about like leaving Whatnot, and that's why I'm dropping a lot of my lives off of Whatnot because of what happened recently.
Mhm.
I mean, and maybe I shouldn't say it here. I don't know. I'm not going to say who the seller is or anything, but so yeah, I had several coincidentally negative reviews
Yeah, that's interesting.
on
That's
Whatnot,
suspect.
and this certain seller suddenly started selling on Whatnot about 3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
And coincidentally, all of those negative reviews were, and when I did research, were tied
Mhm.
back into that seller.
Yeah.
So,
It's unfortunate people think the pie is finite, and it's
mhm,
not. It's infinite. There is so much room for everyone everywhere, but
ex-
people think, "Oh, she's doing what I'm
exactly.
doing. She's going to cut into my pie."
Mhm,
And that's childish.
exactly.
That is
It's
so childish and so paranoid. And it's not only women that do it, but I do see it a lot with the women of any age.
it's
I don't know. I think
it's
sometimes the younger kids have a little bit more diplomacy
mhm,
than even some of the other women who think, oh, I can only do. I'm the only one who can do vintage. I'm the only expert or whatever. No,
exactly.
there's
And
lots of room for
that's what it
experts.
all comes down to. I mean, when you would see a lot of how the pettiness would work itself out, that's what it would be all about.
And that's so
And it
stressful.
would be
That's really stressful.
very much directed to this seller, meaning me. You know, she's got this, but mine is so much better. She's got this, but mine, she's selling it, but this, but I'm selling it at 3 times as much because mine is from the teardrops of monks in Venice and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
like, no, but it's not. But that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I sell my pieces for what I sell them for because I get it for a certain price, and I'm not going to
Mhm.
mark my pieces up 10,000 times to my customers because I don't need to. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
that's just the way I am.
And no one should question your system, your systematic way of doing things. That's your way. It's like anything. If you got something at a certain price and you see value in it that someone else didn't see, you can let it go at the highest price you can possibly
Mhm.
think it's going to garner some interest. Or if you're done with it and you have so many of these types of brooches or so many of this, and
Right.
you feel like having a bargain blowout that day, then you have a bargain blowout that day. Whose business is it? It's not going to take away from yours.
Exactly.
And again, people buy from people they like as well.
Exactly.
They buy from people they like. If you're not their cup of tea, then you're not their cup of tea. They're going to go somewhere else. They're going to get their ears tickled somewhere else
Exactly.
or they're going to get smoke blown in their eyes and given stories about provenance and so forth. And that's what they want. That's what they
Mhm.
want. You're not going to ever change anybody until they get to the point where, you know what she told me about this is not true, or I could have found it somewhere else. And then they might, if they have class, keep their mouth shut and just buy somewhere else. Don't go
Exactly.
into the chat and put people,
Mhm.
this or the other. You just don't need to do that.
Exactly. Looks like Antoinette's out. Good night, Antoinette. We love you. And Emily, thank you. You're our cup of tea too.
Yeah. That's so interesting. That's one of the reasons I don't share my eBay stores. And I've changed names, and I also have shared them with my daughters. So I don't, people always ask me, what's your eBay store? What's your eBay store? Because people will go on there, buy from you. It's happened to so many people. When I first started when I first started doing YouTube, followed a wonderful lady who used to do these great videos of what sold on eBay, and she would do them pretty much. I never saw her face. She would just show the item, what she bought it for, and how much it sold for. And they were like 8-minute videos, and people
Mhm.
loved her. She was really fabulous. And I think I fell in love with something she showed, and I asked her, "Well, what's your eBay store?" And she said, I don't share it anymore because I've gotten people that troll me over there. They buy it and then they return it, or they buy it and give me a negative. So if I figured, and these were her words, I figured if they really want something that badly, go to eBay and search for it and you'll find it.
Mhm.
And you know, and I know I could probably make some sales. A lot of people do, sharing their eBay stores and sharing their hauls and then their eBay store or whatever. But I feel like it's not that I'm paranoid. I just feel like I don't really need to do that. I think if you are looking for a vintage Barbie and her clothes, look up vintage Barbie and her clothes and you'll find mine there or something,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah.
You don't want to risk it.
No, no,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's just too bad. I think people just need to have better things to do.
Yeah. But I hope you don't leave Whatnot. Just um give it
Oh
a,
no.
you know, maybe just
I'm spreading myself
yeah,
more.
yeah. You've got wonderful jewelry, Leslie. You've got amazing inventory that people are going to want no matter where you go.
Mhm. Yeah.
No matter where you put it, they're going to want that jewelry.
Yeah.
That's
I,
really what matters.
yeah. I like my tribe, as
Mhm.
as everybody was calling themselves when I did my sale here on YouTube yesterday. They were calling themselves my
Again,
tribe.
because they like you.
Yeah.
People
And
follow the people they like.
yeah. And
That's what's
so
going to happen.
I'm gonna do three. We'll do three a week here on YouTube, and I'll do my three on Whatnot and go from there and just kind of see.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be kind of see how it goes. So,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I've got to honestly, I need to do more on eBay. I
Yeah.
got to do more on eBay, to be
I
honest.
listed something on eBay while during the summer. Something. No, I listed a few things.
Thanks,
And
Angel.
my grandson fell in love with it, and I took it off the market. And it sold. I had to cancel it. I was like, I cannot take it away from my grandson. He really loved it.
Oh, that's
So,
funny.
but it's so funny because I hadn't listed anything in I don't know how many months, and then every time I model something, he modeled it for me. It was a turtle backpack.
Oh, that's
It
so
was
cute.
incredible. And my daughters used to model for me, not their, not their body, but like, they put a bag on and you could see
Yeah.
it on scale. And I've always loved using models. Everybody would say, no, it should be a back, white background, and the ring should be floating. And yeah, that looks fantastic. But when you see it on a finger, and I always want to ask, can you put it on your finger? I want to see how big it is. I want to see the back of it. And if it's, a vintage bag or a shawl or something, or I'll get my daughter's beautiful hands and put some rings and bracelets on them and list that, and they get sold.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm just saying, but I used him as a model and it sold. And then I had to cancel it.
Oh, that's so cute, though. That's so
But he
cute.
was happy,
That's
and that's
awesome.
okay.
That's awesome. That's funny.
Again, that's where you think profit or a little sunshine in your life, that
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, my son, he's the one that's moving to Spain. He actually
Mhm.
rated some of my jewelry last week, and I'm like, "Hey, take whatever you want
Yeah.
before you leave. Take whatever you want." And so he's gonna be able to take some. But I'm like, "Hey, when you go to Spain, though, if you find any jewelry, I'll give you an unlimited budget, and then buy up jewelry, ship it back, and
Oh,
then
how fabulous is
wouldn't that
that?
be awesome?"
Yeah, or those wonderful hair combs. I love those
Oh,
Spanish combs,
yes.
things like that. I mean,
Yes.
all the veils, the accessories. I would love to peruse a vintage flea market or something in Spain.
There
But
is
I think I need to call my son. He's vacationing over there.
I know there is a flea market in the city he's moving to on every Sunday. So he told me
That's
he will
so
go.
nice.
Yep, he told me he will go. And so we'll hopefully have some good things from the flea market in the Canary Islands to be shopping with. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
mhm,
I follow a couple of people from the UK. Their hauls are so fabulous.
mhm.
And I know Texas gal treasures Margaret
Yeah.
for a while, and I've met her a couple of times. She's fabulous. Because she used to be here in the Houston area, and then she moved to Austin. Now she's in Colorado, but she used to order boxes of jewelry from the UK just to see what would come, for
Mhm.
these mystery boxes of jewelry, and she got some interesting things. That's a
Yeah.
that's a fun thing to do, I think.
Mhm.
Paid a little extra, of course, but
Be
nice.
worth it.
Yeah, it's just nice to see what's found over there, and of course,
Mhm.
who is it? Queen Bee, vintage Queen Bee. She does shows out of the. I'm not getting her name. Dana. I know her first name is Dana. She does really nice auctions too with all kinds of things she finds in the UK where she lives.
Really
American. She's American, but she lives there. Yeah.
awesome.
Killer Queen Bee vintage jewelry. Yeah, and I think she has auctions on Sunday or something.
I'll have to find her.
She always has interesting things.
Does anybody have anything for us before we sign off?
Did we learn anything about de-stressing?
I know. Did anybody
Shall
learn
we
anything?
recap?
Yeah, I know. Well, nap.
Nap,
More naps.
prayer, nature,
Yep.
meditation,
Yep.
gratitude.
Exactly.
Gratitude when you wake up in the morning
Exactly.
and you have water to drink. Many people don't.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Hydrate.
You take a nap. You're right, Emily. Yes, for sure.
All right. Looks like Penny would love to come over to the States and go thrifting for jewelry here. We get some nice things. Yes, we do.
Absolutely. Yeah, they say, I think that the car boot sales, what they call the car boot sales, which are the flea markets,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I see a lot of people find the really nice things at giveaway prices or whatever. One lady I watch, she goes to a flea market a lot and some of the charity shops, they call them
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
charity shops.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know. I'm hoping that, well, if things go as planned, I get my passport and I can get over there sometime around January, which, I got to get my act together and get things rolling.
You will. And go back into whatnot. Go back into whatnot. Get those things out of you. That's done. That the lady,
Right.
whoever it is, she'll get over it. She's got to get
Yeah.
over it. She's gonna realize it's a waste of energy because there's just like here, there's 20 people a day auctioning something. There's not
Yeah.
even enough time to watch everybody you want to watch.
Right. Exactly. And
So,
I
and
mean,
every day there's more followers finding the jewelry community, and more customers blooming.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if anybody here isn't already following me that's watching, please go ahead and hit that subscribe because I do have my goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers by
I think you're going to get
September.
there very soon.
I hope so.
Most definitely.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So that's my goal. 1,000 by September. So
Good.
all right. Yes. So we're gonna all take naps and
I used to
de-stress
take
that
a
way.
nap. I used to take a nap when you want to talk about stress, try earning your degree after the age of 50 and working at a autism clinic with behavior so excessive and extreme that the children could not function in a classroom. So I worked there full time, 8 hours a day. Then I'd go to class right after work. There were times that I would nap in the campus in my car for 1 or 2 hours before coming into work, like at finals. That's stressful, but I had a goal, like you have a goal. I
Yeah.
have a goal, and I knew that it was going to get me somewhere. So I
Mhm.
kept doing it.
Yep.
And now I take a nap when I get home because I'm exhausted too. It's just a cycle. You're still
Yeah.
exhausted
Yeah.
and
I know.
stressed.
I got my
Just a different
master's
place.
degree when I was 40. How old was I? 42, 3. I think I got my master's degree when I was 43,
Yeah.
44. And
And that's
I was
wonderful.
traveling.
Mm,
I was on the road constantly trying to get my master's degree in health administration.
right.
And that was stressful because I never knew where I was going to be at any given time. And I was
Right.
traveling and I had the Michigan's Upper Peninsula as
Mhm.
my territory in the
Okay.
winter.
Wow. Mhm.
So you never knew if you're going to be snowed in or be able to make it over the Mackinac Bridge.
See, you had that, and then now you have a petty sees herself as some kind of competition who's not worthy of even 2 more minutes of your thoughts.
I know, honestly, this
When
is
you've been
nothing
through
compared
that,
to
you've
what
had a
that was.
firewall. You've been through the firewall, but it was a snow wall instead, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So,
You can survive anything,
yeah,
working in special ed with kids that are behavior. I can survive anything. A little hate comment's not going to hurt me.
exactly.
It's,
Exactly.
you just have to think about it like that,
I know. If I can
honestly.
get through a blizzard in the Upper Peninsula, in a rental car.
Yeah.
So,
A bad review is not going to hurt.
exactly. Exactly.
All
Oh,
in
Lord.
perspective, right?
Yes, Emily says, Penny, you're so right. Having a chance to talk to people that have the same issues and things in common is so great. It is. Sometimes this is all we need is just to
Right.
all like come together and be like, whew, yes, it helps.
Exactly. Because
It
we've
really
all
does.
been through that. We've all been
Hmm.
through something, and there's
Yep.
more to come.
Yep. Exactly.
There's always more to come. And
Exactly.
that's why when the good times are here, take
Yeah.
them.
Exactly.
Take them and open that bottle of wine once in a while. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about that either.
God, no.
Mhm.
Sometimes, I will do maybe a little bit of bourbon instead of wine. So,
Mhm.
and I don't even feel bad about it anymore. I used to, not anymore.
No. There's nobody. I'm sure your parents are done telling you what to do. So
Yeah, God. Oh, God knows that. Yep.
nobody else can.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell me. Nope. Well, thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Thelma. This was great. This
Oh,
was
I'm so
great.
glad you invited me. Thank you. I know I
Yeah.
probably rattled too much,
No,
but
God.
when
This was
people want
great.
to talk, I talk.
Yeah, I always enjoy talking to you. So thank you so much. It was
My pleasure.
fantastic. So
Thanks everyone
really
who showed
appreciate it.
up, and well, Leslie's friends. Thank you so much for being here, listening to me rattle on.
Yeah, no, I
It was fun
appreciate it.
talking with Miss Leslie for sure.
Yes, thank you. Emily, if I could throw one back with y'all, I would. Hey, Emily, maybe next week.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right.
Y'all have a great
Everyone.
night. Enjoy
Yes,
the
you
rest of your
too.
week, everyone.
Yes, thank you. You
Yeah.
too. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody. See you next week. Bye.